of the Arlington Democrats. It's great to see so many folks here today to join us as we continue to resist while social distancing. Now, I acknowledge that today was the start of the governor's phase 3 reopening plan for Virginia, which of course I think we're all very excited about. But we are taking a cautious approach to the reopening, and because this was just, absolutely the first day, we decided to stick with doing our online meeting. We will see what happens with respect to the August meeting, so stay tuned with that. But we are excited to be continuing our online advocacy efforts in the march to the all-important November election, and with the very important pit stop along the way of our July 7th special election, which is right around the corner. So welcome everybody. If you are not already on mute, I'd appreciate it if you could go on mute so we can eliminate some of the background noise, which will be really helpful because not everyone is quite as loud as I am, I'm told. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to welcome you to is not just our social distancing, but I want to welcome you to a new day in Virginia. Today is July 1st, and it is the day that many of the laws that were passed this past legislative session by our General Assembly are coming into effect on topics that mean a great deal to the folks on this phone. And so on this call. So I wanted to make sure that we did a little shout out, we did a little cheer. This is what happens when we elect Democrats. We get voting rights, we get climate change measures, we enact criminal justice reform, we have advocates in the General Assembly for women's rights, LGBTQ equality becomes law. This and much more, these are the sorts of issues that we are fighting for, and I just wanted to pause to the extent that we have any of our delegation on the line to say thank you. Thank you for doing the hard work, and we greatly appreciate it, and we're so excited that today we are finally seeing some of that great legislation be enacted. So please take a moment to just sort of cheer and to be excited. This is really what the fruition is of our hard work. I mean, we celebrate on Election Day, but it's days like this when we are making meaningful change to the lives of Virginians that really matter the most. So just wanted to give a call out to that. Dems at work, thank them when you see them.
Hey,
all right, yeah, let's give a cheer.
on three. One,
Yeah.
2, 3. Hey, Virginia Blue.
Yay!
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Hey, Jill.
Yeah, I wanted, yes, go ahead.
A bit of trivia. Yesterday, Oklahoma, which is where my wife is from, voted by 0.3% to expand Medicaid through the state. So North Texas has expanded Medicare.
Okay. All right. So we were leading the charge in that, and I'm glad North Texas is also following suit. All right. So I also want to, not only are we thanking our state level legislators, but we are super excited to be thanking and being joined today by one of our federal level legislators who's also on the ballot this year. So we're going to be fighting hard for our entire ticket, but that absolutely includes our great Senator Mark Warner, who I understand is on the line with us. Sir, where are you in this mass tile of people? Are you on mute?
Here I am. I'm off
there you go.
mute. This is my first time I'm doing this actually on a cell phone, as opposed to my kitchen where I made my magnificent tuna melt.
And I'm trying to scroll to the slides where we have your tuna melt meme.
I would just tell you, do not try that at home. It is disgusting as it looked. But let me, first of all, thank all the Arlington Dems for what you do, have done, will do. We're going to take another seat next week, next Tuesday, right, with Touchless?
Absolutely, we are.
So I just wanted to kind of zoom in during these wild, wild times. One, to say thank you. Two, to say we've got to keep up the fight. It is almost surreal. Each week you think the Trump administration can't do something weirder or worse. And each week, unfortunately, new lows are set. So we've got to make sure we keep Virginia blue. Obviously, Don's got to win. Jerry's got to win. The rest of our delegation. We've got a great couple of new candidates, and Kasim in the 1st district and Cameron Webb in the 5th district. I think we can move our majorities up even more, and I would appreciate getting rehired as well. So thank you for all that. Couple of quick things. Just an update from the front. On the good news category, about 2.5 weeks ago, the Senate actually passed the bill that I've been working on for 3 years called the Great American Outdoors Act that makes huge investments in our national parks, including the GW Parkway, where we've had over, statewide, we've got over $1 billion in deferred maintenance. This bill will knock off half of that. It'll also permanently fund the Land and Water Conservation Fund. It's been called the most significant new environmental, other than climate, but environmental piece of legislation in 50 years. And the House will pass it in a couple of weeks. And so there is some good news, even though it didn't make as much total news. On the more challenging front, in the Intelligence Committee today, we got additional briefs, which I can't talk about the substance, but boy, oh boy, why this White House is not willing to ever call out Vladimir Putin and Russia and acknowledge that these guys are not friends of our country is stunning to me. So from how we deal with COVID to challenges around racial injustice and policing reform, economic, healthcare, a host of issues, which I won't go through and make the whole committee endure my whole spiel tonight, but I am so grateful for what Arlington has done and will do, and just looking forward to a wild balance of the summer and hopefully a fall where we can campaign in person.
Thank you so much, Senator. We too are looking forward to the campaign this fall, no matter what it looks like. But it'll be great, hopefully, to be able to meet in person at some point. We'd love to welcome you back in person. We really appreciate when you come out to our events.
Well, I appreciate that, Jill. And this year, I'm hoping Arlington get like, what, 77, 78%? What's our goal number this year?
90?
From Biden on down.
Our goal is 90% because the chair of the Arlington Democrats is a crazy person, but if we do not shoot high, we won't get there. So we're naming
90%.
That's right.
90% with an 85% turnout, and Biden will be fine. We'll all be fine. So again, thank you guys so much. I will let you get back to the meeting, but thanks for including me. Look forward to doing this in person.
Great. Thank you. Can we give another cheer for our senator?
Hey! Hey! Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.
Have a good one. Okay, so we had to take our agenda a little out of order, but of course we're always delighted to do whatever we can to accommodate the senator's schedule. And we're going to keep moving along in our agenda. The senator kindly pointed out that we do have a very important special election coming up on July 7th. And despite best efforts, I can tell you that there are still people out there who do not know that this election is happening. We need to get to those folks and make sure that they know that they can vote in this important election and vote for a terrific Democrat, Takis Karantanis. So take out your phones. Our social media challenge is focused on our July 7th special election. Take out your phones or go to your browser, head to the Facebook page of the Arlington Democrats, which is at Arlington Dems. You will see pinned to the top of that page a post that looks something like what is appearing on your screen here today. And interestingly, I was surprised to learn this. What this post is telling people is that you can exercise your right to vote, the most patriotic of duties, on the 4th of July, which is crazy. I think that the registrar is open on the 4th of July, and we should absolutely thank those fine public servants. But I'm going to go vote on the 4th of July in a socially distanced manner because I think that's a pretty cool way to celebrate Independence Day. And I would strongly encourage everybody to join me or to vote on the 2nd, and that's so tomorrow. They are closed on Friday, but you could vote tomorrow, you can vote Saturday, and of course you can vote in person on Election Day on July 7th. So this is important information that we want to get out there to make sure that folks are aware that there's an election. So if you could please, when you find this post on the Arlington Dems Facebook page, hit share and post it into your network with a quick note like, hey, I'm voting on July 4th. Why not join me? Something like that. or like the post. Share is better than like, but we'll take whatever we can get. And that will be a really helpful way for us to get the word out about this special election. So hopefully I've talked enough or you've had an opportunity to do that. And please do make your plan to vote in this special election so we can get Touchless over the finish line. All right, moving right along. Oh, in fact, I think Touchless is here. Touchless, do you want to say anything? I'm happy to cede the floor to you for a second.
Oh, yes, I want to say something. I want to say thank you to everybody who has been calling, writing cards, running a campaign under these circumstances. This is a intensive final stretch, as it was an intensive campaign until now. Thank you for all the support and for the encouragement. We continue to resist under these circumstances, and we will turn out Arlingtonians to vote for the right causes, for the right policy. Especially always think, and I am reminded every single time in this campaign about those who cannot join us today, those who have not access to the internet, who worry about their jobs, who worry about their health, about their families. We are voting for them as well, and we hope that we get them also to vote. So please call, please continue to pull all the resources to get Democrats out on July 7th. This is really important. This is a time and an election that will have significant consequences for Arlington. You know that. I don't need to repeat that. So thank you.
Thank you, Touchless.
I will be there on the entire 4th of July, greeting voters, and I hope that we will have really a very, very special 4th of July in Arlington this year.
Absolutely. I'm excited to see you there. And we have opportunities for folks to join you that we're going to cover here in a minute. But thank you for running, Touchless. It's always difficult to throw your hat into the ring, but we appreciate you standing up and fighting for issues like we saw on that previous slide that matter so much to us at the local level. So we know you'll do a great job, and we're going to pull out all the stops between now and July 7th to get you over the finish line. Okay. So before we get to our update about the special election volunteer opportunities, which we will get to, I do want to get us through a few voting items that we have here tonight. We'll just do a little bit of business. First up, we want to bring forward for a vote a motion to appoint a new outreach vice chair, as well as to elect additional precinct captains. We are always so excited when folks step up to help in various capacities. We're delighted that Maya Jones is looking to extend her Democratic activism from the AYDs to the main party by serving as the vice chair for comms within outreach. As you will hear later tonight, outreach is just, blowing it up. I mean, they are doing all of the things, and they've got so much going on that they're looking to really promote in a huge way all of their activities. And so they're looking for someone to help with that sort of messaging. And so we're delighted that Maya is stepping up into that role. And we're also really excited that we've got six new potential precinct captains. We got Sarah Lanford, Paul Ruiz, Eric Medina, Kevin Streeter, Sasha Brenak, and Colton Gibbons, some of whom have already been active. Some are new to the party, but we are so excited to have you in what is absolutely the most important election year. So I am looking for a motion to appoint/elect these folks as the case may be.
So moved.
Did I hear a second?
Second.
All right, so the motion's been properly moved and seconded. So I'm going to ask the voting members of the party to please go ahead and click yes or no. But before I do that, I see Carol has raised her hand. Carol, do you need to say anything about maybe these excellent precinct captains?
I will do that in my turn. I thought we were going to raise our hands to vote. I forgot it's a yes. I'm sorry.
No worries. Okay, so hopefully everyone can see the yes button. And if not, maybe Maggie can help out with some directions. Maggie Davis, our deputy chair, is always running our Zoom rooms for these meetings and doing a great job.
See it.
So most people seem to have opened it, but it's on the participant list. And at the bottom of the participant list, when you open that, there is a green circle for yes to click and a red circle for no.
Okay.
And then to answer questions in the chat, voting members are precinct captains as well as steering committee members. Jill, am I missing other?
Nope, that's it.
Voting okay.
Just ask one real
Do
quick
precinct
question.
leaders vote?
Nope.
Can I just ask one real quick question? I'm sorry, I logged in as an admin, so I guess it doesn't allow me to raise my hand, so that's why I'm interrupting. Can you just briefly tell us what the responsibilities of the outreach vice chair are and how they're different for communications, and how it's different from the Arlington Dems chair?
Yeah, so that's a great question, and we sort of debated whether we wanted to put this person, this role in comms or in outreach. It really could go either way. I mean, the goal with this position is to make sure that there's so much happening in outreach that we've got somebody who's really on top of it and feeding that information into our comms channels. So it really could have gone either way, but the goal is to facilitate additional,
So they'll be dedicated to the outreach team.
Correct.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, so I see we've got 73 yeses, so that motion passes. Thanks very much. We're excited to welcome all these folks to the team. Moving on to our next voting item, the steering committee has put forward a recommendation to adopt a resolution that would support the proposal that the county manager has put forward to purchase a body camera system for Arlington law enforcement. The actual text of the resolution was sent out to all voting members in advance by email, as I do before every monthly meeting. So you would have seen the full text of the resolution, and if it passes, we will of course put that on our website. But the goal here is to very strongly support what is I think low-hanging fruit in the quest for criminal justice reform, to provide our local law enforcement with body cameras that are, I think, essential part of making sure that there's accountability for our law enforcement. And we've seen how effective the body cameras can be for, when bringing situations to light that the public should know about and should react to. So I am looking for a motion to adopt this resolution.
So moved.
Motion. So moved.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
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 All right. Great. That has been, the motion's been properly moved and seconded. I'm going to go ahead and ask for your yes votes. Clicking the green button, and folks are plainly have found it. So that's moving right along. Okay, so that motion passes. According to my count. Yes, clearly. Okay, terrific. Thank you very much. I think this is an important, as I said, basic step that I think we can show support for, and we will get this up on our website right away. Thanks to our awesome website team. The next item that I want to talk about is not, let me underscore that, not something we are going to vote on tonight, but it is something that I want to put on your radar screen so you are prepared to vote on it next month. In November, our ballot will include all of our awesome candidates, including Senator Warner. It is also going to include a constitutional amendment on redistricting reform. And our typical course of action is to take a position on the various questions or constitutional amendments that appear on our local ballot. And we do that for purposes of our sample ballot. As you, I'm sure, remember, our sample ballot tracks very closely to the real ballot. And so if a question appears on the ballot, we typically will list, how we suggest folks vote. And we will explain why in our website and other media. We don't always take a position, but we often do. So this year we need to decide if we are going to take a position with respect to this constitutional amendment on redistricting reform. I'd say, unlike most years, this particular measure is somewhat controversial within Democratic circles. Most of the time, it's not that hard to figure out sort of where we are as a community. On this one, there is a fair amount of disagreement among people who are fine Democrats. So you can hold differing views on this particular issue and be true blue, be a fine Democrat. Folks disagree. And so because there is this disagreement, we want to make sure that we are taking this vote in a thoughtful and deliberative way, that no one feels railroaded. That's not our goal here at all. We want to make sure that we are having a robust discussion about an important issue for our state. So what that means is that we're providing you a month's notice about this voting item so that you have an opportunity to educate yourself about it. Some of you on this call, God bless you, you live and breathe this stuff and you are all over redistricting reform and this particular proposal for redistricting reform. Others of you are focused on ballot chasing for our special election. Thank you very much. And maybe you don't know as much about this. So now's your chance to learn more. And we've got some resources here to help you do that. First, there is the link at the bottom there to our redistricting roundtable, which was an event that we held 2 weeks ago, I want to say, and it was recorded and you can go watch the recording. It was an awesome event, I have to say. Very educational, very entertaining. I really want to thank Mike Heminger, the entire outreach team that put that together, the tech team that executed it, Praveen Mayan for moderating a rowdy bunch, but I think it was a really good discussion of the issues. We also are going to be organizing, as you will hear later, a couple of additional events on redistricting reform that I encourage you to check out. And in addition, we've set up a central Google folder where we are storing information about this particular proposal for redistricting reform. There's a subfolder for pro and there's a subfolder for con. So you can read both sides of the argument. If you would like to suggest materials to that folder, let me know, let Maggie know, and we will upload your suggestions into those folders. So that's the information that we're making available. You could also do Google searches and talk to others, and I'm sure there's plenty of other information out there, but I think that this will give you a good start. So that's the plan. We will vote next month. It'll be the voting members who are going to participate in that vote. And we're going to send out logistical information to the voting members in advance of that meeting so that you're very clear on what you need to do. Because it could be tight, I'm not sure, but it could be tight. And so we want to make sure, we do want to be certain that we're proceeding with the vote in a fair and transparent way. The vote will be done in 2 stages. The first stage is going to be, should we take a position? Yes or no? And then if so, which position, support or oppose, will we take? So I should say, I'm not sure we'll do it in stages, but there certainly will be 2 questions, those 2 questions that you'll be asked to answer as a voting member. And we will see how it comes out from there. Let me pause there. I just want to make sure if there are any questions about this process, that we're clear about it. I don't want any questions about the substance of it because I am no expert. And so you should definitely look at the materials and listen to the roundtable. But if there's questions about the process, I do want to make sure folks are clear about that.
Hey, Jill, did you mention the morning mugs or did I miss that?
So we'll get to those, but those are the 2 additional events that we're going to be holding on that. And towards the end, when we get to upcoming events, I'll give you some more information about that. But yes, we're going to hold 2 morning mugs. One will be featuring speakers who are pro the amendment, and they'll give their point of view, and we'll have a robust discussion with them about why they feel that way. And then the second morning mug will feature speakers who are against the amendment, and same thing. They'll present their views. We'll have a robust discussion about that with them about why they feel that way. Both of those will be recorded. So if you missed it, it'll be July 11th and July 18th. If you can't attend one or both, you can watch those recordings as well. Okay, I'm not seeing any hands up, so hopefully that was reasonably coherent. That's what I'm shooting for at all times. Okay, we're gonna move on to our special election update. As promised, we are gonna provide you with some information about volunteer opportunities that you can do to help get Touchless over the finish line for that important special election on July 7th. I think Touchless's Deputy Campaign Manager, Grace Barnhill, is on the line, and she's gonna walk us through what those opportunities are. Grace?
Yes, hi everyone. Thank you so much. This is such an important election, and we need your help to get out the vote in the last 6 days that we have left till July 7th. I just want to really emphasize that this is not a guaranteed election. We do not have it in the bag. We cannot basically just sit back right now. We need more than ever to get out the vote, and we need your help to do that. So we are in the middle of a pandemic. It's the middle of summer, and people just aren't aware of the special election, and they're not aware how to vote. We'll go over voting later. Marsha will go over that, but I just want to basically put information in your hands about how you can help us get out the vote this week. So first thing is first is we need help phone banking. This is a huge priority right now. We need to be calling voters every hour until July 7th. And so if this is something that you can do, if you know people who can do this, please let us know. You can email campaign@talkusforarlington.com to sign up. You can forward that or this to people so that they can phone bank as well. But phone banking is a huge priority. We need to be calling people. We need to let them know about the election. We need to let them know about Talkus. Also, poll greeting. You can socially distance poll greet. So if that is something you're interested in doing, please, you can email pollgreeting@arlingtondemocrats.org to sign up. Also, we're doing a Get Out the Vote initiative over the next couple of days until July 7th. We're doing sticky Post-it notes on people's doors. It'll be no contact. You just go up, put it on, and it's just going to be a little sticky reminding them that there's an election on July 7th, vote for Talkus, and information on how to vote. So that is something you can kind of do if you can go through your neighborhood, you can do it on your evening walk, whatever works for you. If you're interested in doing that, or you know anyone who's interested, you can email campaign@talkusforarlington.com and we'll get you all of the information you need there. Another thing that you can do, and this might actually be one of the most effective things, is we need people to email and call their people in their network in Arlington, their family and friends, to make sure that they're aware of the special election. So whether it's posting on Facebook, whether it's sending an email to your circle of people, we have email templates already designed. We have graphics that we can email to you and just put that information in your hands. So all you need to do is hit the send button on that. And I just really want to emphasize that, again, we need your support. We need your help. We can't do this without you. Our opponent is picking up steam, and we need to make sure that Talkus is going to be on the county board on July 7th. And so we definitely need your help. If you have any questions, feel free to send me an email at the email on the screen, and we'll make sure that you get these slides so that you have all of this information. But if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Again, we're so thankful for all of you and all of the support, and we just need to get over that finish line, like Jill said. So thank you guys so much.
Thanks, Grace. Thanks to you and Izzy and the entire campaign team for all the hard work that you're doing. I couldn't agree more. Here at the Arlington Democrats, we take nothing for granted. That includes this election, especially because it is a special election in the middle of the summer, in the middle of a pandemic. Anything could happen. I want y'all to know that I am signed up to poll greet at 7 a.m. on July 7th because I wanted to get Talkus over the finish line, and I am signed up to put out Post-it notes on Friday because I want to get Talkus over the finish line. So I am asking you, what are you doing this week to help get Talkus over the finish line? Because if you have not yet signed up, please join me. Please don't make me and Grace be the only ones out there for Talkus, right? We need help. So I'm asking you guys, like, if you can make time out of your schedules, please do it. This is really important. And, I think Friday is going to be a beautiful day to go out and just stick some Post-it notes on folks' door in a socially distanced manner. You do not have to speak to humans. You can just walk your dog and stick Post-it notes. Similarly, poll greeting, you will have to speak to humans, but all you have to do is shout at them while holding a big Talkus sign. Okay, so there's not going to be actual handshaking or anything like that because, of course, we are putting safety first, but there is a way, we believe, to poll greet in a safe manner to get Talkus over the finish line. So please, if you have not yet volunteered for Talkus, now is the time. This is the most important thing that you can do this week to help a Democrat, right? Because we know special elections, they can go any number of ways. And the only way you ensure victory is by putting in the work. So if you are looking for that thing you can do for a Democrat this week, a Democrat who is committed to finding solutions for housing affordability in Arlington, a Democrat who is endorsed by so many environmental activists in Arlington, transportation advocates, education advocates, because his values are where we need them to be. He is a practical, solutions-oriented person. He will be the leader that we need in the county board in this critical moment. If you want that sort of person on the county board, now is the time to act. Please, phone bank, poll greet, Post-it notes, share Facebook posts, whatever it takes, whatever you can do would be greatly appreciated. So thank you, Grace, for presenting that, and we will see you out there on the campaign trail. All right, moving right along. There are other things that you can do, none as important this week as supporting Touchless, but there are other things that you can do to get involved to help Democrats up and down the ballot, including in November. And I want to turn things over now to Carol Fontaine, our Chair of Precinct Operations, to let us know about some of those additional volunteer opportunities, though I suspect she may also talk about Touchless.
Well,
And
Jill,
show a giant picture of him.
right. Such a great plug for Touchless and what?
Oh, sorry. Okay, sorry.
No, that's fine. It's just when you put it up, the names didn't show up. I just had a little plug I wanted to put in because every time I join one of these general meeting Zooms and see how many of you are out there, I mean, good grief, what do we have? 100 and what number of people? I get the same feeling every time. I'm so proud and honored to be part of Arlington Democrats. And I mean, think about it. During these challenging times, we have stuck together. We've worked so hard. We've come up with amazing solutions to seemingly impossible obstacles. And we're doing all this while we're managing our jobs and our children and our parents. And on top of all that, we have the added stress of watching our democracy basically teetering on the brink. So bravo to all of you who are here and will be helping us going forward to elect Touchless next week and 7 Democrats in November and move us safely away from the brink. So please clap your hands for each other or cheer. Anyway, I just really wanted to say that. So I'm delighted to congratulate, so slide now, Jill, yeah. Oh, there they are. Okay. I'm delighted to congratulate the 6 new precinct captains who've just signed on to help us going forward. Actually, it's 5 new, and Sarah Lanford has moved from being a precinct captain in Roslyn to helping in Park Lane. So Sarah, thank you for making that move. That's just an example that you don't have to live in the precinct to be a precinct captain there. So welcome aboard, all of you. And now I'm going to talk a little bit about what precinct captains do, because as always, I'm hoping there are first-time attendees out there who might be interested in joining our precinct teams. So next slide. As I say every month, as we all know, Arlington's job is to be the difference in keeping Virginia blue. And we must get out every single last Democratic vote in Arlington to offset the other parts of the state. And much of that work happens at the precinct level. Our precinct captains are the face and the voice of Democrats in their neighborhood. They build a network of volunteers to share the thinking and the work. They inform their voters about how, when, and where to vote and who the Democratic candidates are. And they will be recruiting volunteers to do whatever's going to pass for canvassing this summer to deliver the messenger, which, by the way, is the messenger drive is going to start on September 12th, and also recruiting volunteers to deliver the sample ballot to voters on November 3rd. We're not doing that on July 7th, but we are definitely going to be handing out the sample ballot on November 3rd. Slide. So we have precinct captain vacancies in several of our 54 precincts, but these are the ones where we especially need help. And as I said before, you don't have to live in the precinct to be a precinct captain. So take a look at these places where we need them. Arlington precinct, Aurora Hills, Columbia, Garfield Park, and Gunston. And if you're interested in learning more and finding out how you can get involved, contact me at precinctoperations@arlingtondemocrats.org. Slide. So going forward, we are full out for GOTV for Touchless, full court press here. We're going to be helping with the phone banking, delivering the stickies. As Jill mentioned, social distancing meets poll greeting. And we're also going to be recruiting volunteers, recruiting more precinct captains, of course, also recruiting volunteers to deliver the messenger, recruiting poll greeters for November 3rd. If you can help with any of these things, the phone banking, delivering the stickies, just as we've already said, you can contact me or at precinct operations at arlingtondemocrats.org, or those other contacts that Grace gave out for the phone banking, etc. And then lastly, we're going to continue to recruit building ambassadors for the multi-unit buildings. If you live in a high-rise or a garden apartment, we need your help to let people in your building know about the special election and about Touchless, and also about what's coming up in November. And if you can help with that, please contact Richard Skinner, who's our MUBS guy. And you can contact him at MUBS, M-U-B-S, at arlingtondemocrats.org. And Precinct Ops is helping to deliver Virginia in 2020. And that's my story.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Carol. That's a lot. And thanks to everyone in Precinct Operations who's helping to get the word out through emails to your precinct volunteers about the special election. Thank you to all of our over 100 building ambassadors led by Richard Skinner, who are putting out information about the special election. Even putting out nonpartisan information in a large building can be extremely helpful. We know that Arlington is extremely democratic, so when folks know that there is an election, the chances are very good that they will come out and vote for the Democrat on the ballot, which is of course Touchless. So just thank you very much for everything that you're doing day in and day out, and for the planning for the November election as well. Appreciate
And I forgot, as I did last time, to thank our area chairs and all of our precinct captains and Howard and Betsy and all of our other team for all the work that they have been doing. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Absolutely. It's a team effort. Okay, moving right along to voter support. I'm going to turn things over to Marcia Johnston. So precinct captains really help to get out the word about our candidates and any policy issues that we are advocating for. Voter support really helps to make sure that voters have the things that they need to succeed at the polls, that they are able to access the polls. And Marcia and her team have been doing a great job on a number of different fronts in a very challenging year. And Marcia's going to give you an update about where things stand with respect to voting in Arlington and how you can help folks to vote. Marcia?
Unmute, that would be the first step. Hey everybody, good to see everyone here. Yeah, so we have been pretty busy despite our usual rhythms on voter registration not being what they are for the spring, but we'll get to that in a moment. For July 7th, special election, just to summarize for everybody, 5 days, I think, that's what I counted until, not counting today because it's the end of the day. So 5 days is what I came up with. If you have a mail ballot, as I mentioned to someone earlier, please do not mail it. Please drop it off, just in case. It has to be at the registrar by 7 p.m. on July 7th. So you'd have different options. You can take it to 2100 Clarendon Thursday, tomorrow, or Saturday, July 4th, 8:30 to 4:30. You can drop it off first floor, or go and vote on election day. There's that too at your precinct. And there is a drop-off box on Thursday also in Aurora Hills, just in the afternoon. It's kind of a little bit of an obscure thing, but if you live in Aurora Hills and you can't get to Clarendon Boulevard, you can drop off your ballot there at Aurora Hills Community Center. So again, please do not mail your special election absentee by mail ballots now. Please drop them off. Thank you. That's the main thing. For the, and then next slide, please. And then, or vote absentee in person. Everyone is eligible. You can spread the word on that one. We all have the same reason. So July 2nd, again, tomorrow. Friday, they will be closed. It's kind of an odd thing. For their holiday, they get Friday, but they're open on Saturday the 4th, which is the last day. So it's kind of an odd thing. But so as Jill said, make it the 4th. Go vote on the 4th. How exciting is that? So then all precincts open on July 7th, 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. And anyway, again, spread the word. Make sure everybody you know knows. So next slide, please. So this is a little, I realized there are people still with absentee ballots that may not have voted them yet. In the case that they do, we can provide that. I mean, Mary Byrne and Ann have told me that they are available to provide witnessing for people, and I'm sure they will determine with the voter how to get that ballot dropped off so that it does get in by end of day on the 7th. But anyway, if someone you know needs a witness, we can provide that at those two contact information, the phone number or the email. and we can do that still. Okay, but better thing is to, hopefully everyone's done that already, but just in case. Okay, next slide. So obviously the next phase is the general. And so these are kind of some of the data points we have already. Everyone should know by now. It will be no excuse, early voting. Joe was talking about the benefits of a Democratic legislature. This is one of them. So rather than have to tell them why, I mean, they may be using COVID as well in the fall. But in a regular year, you do not have to come up with an excuse any longer. It is strictly early voting. They haven't published the exact dates. My guess is it's going to be around 18th of September to Halloween, because the Saturday before the election is Halloween. And the number of sites that they will have for early voting is still to be determined. It was going to be 5 before this all happened. We don't know yet. So that's going to be determined at the end of July. And our teams are looking at, they will start setting up mobilized events to schedule poll greeters for the sites and for the days and hours that are set up once they are set up. We were talking about that just today. So that will be set up. We also are planning to do a, much like Touchless's door sticky campaign on Friday, which I will be doing too, we're modified canvassing. So we're going to do another one for informing voters in Arlington about the change in absentee voting and early voting, so that is a permanent change. So, and again, some other dates there, which, you know, are not right around the corner, but so we can move on, I think, to the next slide. I just wanted to give a quick kind of summary we've done, so you guys all know, we've talked about it. We've tested our little touchless voter registration that we've been doing using QR codes, and also employing social distancing measures with masks and sanitizers, and putting our forms in envelopes, and just basically being a little more distance from people. And it's, you know, people appreciate it. And we have seen, interestingly though, voters are not really reluctant to take paper forms or fill them out. So I think that has kind of changed from the beginning of this whole thing. People are a little less skittish about that. That said, we have Touchless. We use the QR codes. People can do it. We've had people check that their rights have been restored on it. That's another QR code, a different one, and do the other stuff as well. So anyway, the bottom line is, we think we can register voters in person safely.
Marcia?
Yes.
Can you explain what touchless voter registration is all about?
Okay, it's primarily you're on a, I don't have the graphic, I apologize. If you know what the QR codes look like, those Rorschach tests, you know? Right. So we have a graphic that we've distributed to Richard and the mugs, we've distributed to different people, organizations, stuff, that just says, are you ready to vote? Scan this. People with iPhones, all they have to do is put their camera up to it, and it takes you to the state voter information page, which allows you to check your registration or request an absentee ballot, both things. And so it's a good thing because it allows a little more privacy for the voter. They don't have to write down their social security number and give you the form, you know, to return. You know, a lot of people don't care about that or not worried about it. But anyway, it's a nice little thing for a lot of people. It gives them a little more privacy. They can do it online. And we kind of stand there to help out if they need it. So
okay.
When I say touchless, it's like we're not giving them anything. They're just holding their phone up to the thing, and they see the site, and they can go on, and they can do it and ask questions. And so that's sort of our socially distanced tool, if you like.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. So, right, and so that's kind of something we will keep using going forward. And in anyway, we're going back to Columbia Pike on Saturdays, Sandra and I, and we will keep using it. And hopefully more of our teams that I'm hoping will sign up. So we'll get to that in a moment. Any other questions, feel free, but next slide, please. So I just wanted to quickly, you know, that said, you know, we do believe we can do this in person. We are doing, getting out there a little bit more. I just thought I'd put up the numbers. These are new registrations. This is not net new. So, you know, the net new is a little bit lower, but it's about the same differential, about 30% behind normal for Arlington County. Now that, given that there were some reports I saw of like Virginia being 25% of what would be normal registrations in a presidential year, that's pretty good that we're not that far behind. But we, our typical summer opportunities are still restricted. No festivals, farmers markets are not quite ready to welcome us to have a presence there all the time, although we're still looking at, you know, maybe some action on the outskirts of the markets. At least I am thinking about that. But anyway, and limited metro action. Part of the issue about metro action is, you know, traffic is not what it was, and a lot of the captains are a little more at risk physically, and they're not that keen about getting out there face to face. So that's something that Paula and I have been talking about. And by the way, thank you so much to Paula Potts for being, and Sandra as well, for being enormously helpful to me as we're trying to redefine strategy on the fly. Paula's been wonderful. Next slide, please. And then, so the question is, how do we meet voters? Basically, in this moment, it's where they are. And grocery stores are a primary thing. Again, Cynthia's Bakery, we're going to be out there again at Columbia Pike on Saturday. Other retailers, Target, ABC stores are busy, Ace Hardware. Libraries are doing pickups now, so I don't know. I haven't really looked at that or spoken with anyone. If anyone has ideas about whether that might be, we've done stuff there in the past. Anyway, we'll see about that, but that was just an idea that occurred to me. So these are the kind of areas that I want to be targeting. And so we are looking, next slide please, to create some vote power teams. I want to get some captains who would be down with scouting, vetting, and adopting a location. That is to say, for example, Trader Joe's in Clarendon, and scheduling regularly socially distanced voter registration out front once a week, twice a month, something like that. So, and I'm hoping captains will, you know, set up their own set up their mobilize event, you know, attract their volunteers, make it a great, you know, really try to create some more social interaction. Distanced, of course, but I think we can do that in some of these places in Arlington. So I'm looking for people who are willing to do that, who feel like they can, and looking for some passionate people who want to spread the vote in Arlington in November. And the first step, of course, is getting everyone registered and catching up a little bit to where we would have been without this stuff.
Marsha?
Yes.
I'm happy to do something at the Whitmore.
Yay, yeah, wonderful.
Whitmore is the largest apartment in Barcroft, so
okay,
very large lobby, and I've done like at least half a dozen voter registration events already. I mean, not obviously pre-COVID, so I'm happy to do something.
Okay, wonderful.
I mean, I always do it every election season, so.
Okay, great.
We'll work something out. I'll talk to you offline.
Absolutely, thank you, Sangeeta. Wonderful. That's exactly what we're looking for. And so, and next slide, please. Just to say, we even have T-shirts still. So, you know, it's a Vote Power T-shirt. I have one. I'm going to be wearing it on Saturday. And so this is what we would like to be doing to sort of try to power up a little bit. And again, we're going to really be trying to use these methods we've set up to make sure that people know that we are cognizant of the moment, that we are masked, we are using, you know, providing hand sanitizer to people, we are sanitizing pens and table and all this stuff. But we're there because we can be there and answer questions and get people registered with our different methods. So that's one main thing. And we've got, like I said, absentee in-person poll greeting is going to go forward, and we're working on that. Rides is there. Anyway, okay, I guess that's it.
Okay, thanks very much, Marcia. I appreciate all of that. That is a lot, and that is terrific work. I want to point out that we've got a lot of folks in the chat who are following Sangeeta's lead. I know that's a great precinct captain from 4 Mile area, Sangeeta, and there's lots of other folks in the chat who are willing to help out with the voter registration effort. So definitely, Marcia, take some notes of folks who are willing to help, and we appreciate it. Yeah, the voter registration numbers nationwide are pretty dismal. That is something we need to work on in the run up to the November election. So appreciate that presentation focusing first on our special election and what we need to do to vote. And then let's make sure folks are ready to vote also in November. Okay, moving right along to outreach, which is another one of our terrific groups, which really makes sure that we're providing extra TLC to groups that maybe are typically underrepresented in politics or with respect to issue areas that are particularly important to folks. Want to make sure that we're really present in the moment, and that is what outreach is about. And I want to turn things over to our terrific outreach chair, Mike Heminger, for an update about all of the many things that's going on in outreach. Big Mike.
Hey, thanks, Jill, and good evening. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Big Mike. I chair the Outreach Committee. I'm going to give you a couple updates on the breakfast and festivals, and I'll kick it over to Josh. So festivals, Kim couldn't be here tonight, but she plans on resuming monthly breakfast in September, so as long as it's safe, so stay tuned for that. An update from Laura, who also couldn't be here tonight on festivals. Laura, are you on by chance?
I am.
Oh, awesome. Hey, Laura.
Hey, yeah, I'm glad I could be here after all. So the festival scene is a little dicey right now. I mean, at the very beginning of the lockdown, it definitely was, everything was off, and that was kind of at the start. It was after our first festival of the year, and then everything was closed. That's pretty much where things are now, although now that the state and Northern Virginia are both at phase 3, I'm starting to hear rumblings about trying to, some of these sponsors of these events are trying to repackage them. For example, the Arlington County Fair, it has the dates have been shifted somewhat, and they're going to do a digital county fair. I'm desperately trying to get details on how that actually play out and what opportunities there might be for Arlington Democrats and AYD to participate so that we can promote our great slate of candidates, register voters, and get out the vote. As soon as I have that answer, I'll definitely share it. I'm trying to get a hold of these folks, and it's just, I'm not getting any responses. If anyone on the line knows somebody that's working on the County Fair Organizing Committee this year, let me know. I'd like their direct contact information. Some of the other events, like our music festivals and some of our cultural festivals and street fairs, they're trying to repackage them like, like the music festivals. Instead of going in person, it's more like you tune in and hear the performances by Zoom. I'm not sure what opportunities are there, but I'm exploring them. And if they're definitely opportunities for us, I'll present them so we can pursue them. But for now, festivals are kind of flat. And that's it.
Thanks, Laura. I'm going to go ahead and kick it over to Josh and Blue Families.
Thanks, Mike. Yeah, so Blue Families, we have been going all in on the postcards and letters. We still encourage people to do chalk drawings, to encourage people to get their absentee ballots. Obviously, we've run out of time on the Touchless race, but keep doing it because you can get them for November. Thank you to everyone who wrote postcards for Touchless. We appreciate that. But outside of Arlington, man, it has been just incredible, the effort that our volunteers have put out. We started the year thinking 40,000 letters to focus on North Carolina, maybe and then eventually Virginia. We have hit 60,000 voters reached through letters and postcards right now, and part of that's the enthusiasm, part of that's the fact that we're all stuck in our homes, and what else are we going to be doing? But we are now setting a goal of 100,000 voters reached, and given the rate that people are requesting postcards, I fully expect us to blow through that. That translates to, tens of thousands, hopefully, of new voters registered and new voters, voters coming to the polls who might not have, unless they received that handwritten postcard. So go to the Blue Family's website. You can sign up. The next couple of days focus on Touchless, but after July 7th, it's just all out to write these postcards, register voters, and we also have voter registration in new card initiative. We have that's Abigail Spanberger's district. For voters who can register there, the more likely that our adopted candidate from 2018 is going to defend her seat. Obviously, we want that to happen. But we're going to have some virtual events coming up in the next couple of weeks. So stay tuned for that. Join Facebook and head Blue Family's landing Dems website to sign up to write after July 7th. Thanks. Back to you, Mike.
All right, awesome. Thanks, Josh. You kind of cut out. For those of you that may have missed some of the things that Josh mentioned, please visit the Blue Family's Facebook page. Great job, Josh. We got 40,000 to go. Arlington Democrats, we need your help. After this week, there will be a lot of opportunity to join this effort. I'm going to kick it over to Arbra, who's going to give us an update on business and labor outreach. Arbra?
Thanks, Mike. So I'm pinch hitting for Emeritus Sumter, and our business outreach team has been hard at work trying to connect with local businesses, especially small businesses. The big thing that we've done in the past month is we had a meet and greet on the subject of business and small business with Touchless. It went quite well. He was great, and we had a good discussion. And we're hard at work planning next event, which will be after the special election. So it'll be focused on Vice President Biden's plans for business and labor. So stay tuned for that. And we are also planning to try to sort of, as businesses reopen, ramp up our outreach to small businesses, just going and doing meet and greets and letting them know that we're there for them. Arlington Dems are there for them. So you can email businessandlabor@arlingtondemocrats.org if you're interested. We've had a lot of new volunteers who are plugging in, so it's all great. And we have a good team, so thanks, that's it.
All right, awesome. Thanks, Arbra. Next up is gonna be Fatima with an update on interfaith outreach and advocacy. Fatima, you might be on mute.
Sorry, thanks, Mike. So I'll start by talking about our very successful event last night on building inclusive communities and how do we stop racism, bigotry, and hate. And very well attended. Don Beyer gave a really terrific overview of his new bill, the No Hate Act, that would hold police departments more accountable for reporting hate crimes. And there are 3 terrific speakers, a very diverse group of speakers, and a very robust conversation that ensued. So I think everyone was fairly pleased. We did put together we decided that we wanted to put together an evaluation form. The team did that. And I also, before I go any further, I also want to thank Alexandra Ritchie and Colin and Simon Brook. I don't know if Colin and Simon are on the call. And Ken Spiker. They really did a tremendous job, in helping with all aspects of putting this together. It went so well. I think this is going to be the first. It was just an overview of the issue, and we hope to have subsequent issue fora like this that are more more detailed and take a deeper dive at these issues. So there's the slide. Okay, I was just kind of doing it off the top of my head. So save the date. We're going to have the 3rd annual Interfaith Eid celebration on August 6th. The details, we're still working those out because I think that, you know, we're hoping to be able to do this in person because that's where this event really shines. It's really about, you know, it's about bringing together faith organizations and people from different communities. It's really to bring people together from different areas to sort of talk to each other and talk to each other one-on-one, get to know each other. And that's how you build community. It's about, bringing people together. So anyway, we're hoping to do that. We're looking at some outdoor venues, and we think we're probably going to have it at Lyon Park Community Center. We're likely going to make that decision this week. And let's see. Oh, I'm going to go back to the event first of all. And I did encourage everybody to vote. So Marcia will be very glad to hear that. I asked everybody if they were registered or not. And if not, there's still time to do it for the general. Although sadly, probably a little too late to do it for the special election. And Takis was also at our meeting. And I thought it was great that he was able to weigh in on the issues a little bit and introduce himself. So that was terrific too. I'll mention that I'm also doing a Zoom and greet for Takis tomorrow night at what time did we say? It's at 7 o'clock, I think. I'll have to go back and check my calendar. It's on the Arlington Dems calendar anyway. So I've encouraged some people from the local mosque to attend. Hopefully they will do so, as well as people in my neighborhood. But obviously it's open to anybody. I welcome anybody that would like to attend tomorrow night. And one more thing about the event last night. For those that missed the event, we recorded it, and I think Maggie and Lisa will be putting it somewhere. Are we Maggie?
It'll be on the website.
Is it on the web? Okay, It'll be on
the website at the event link on the calendar.
On the Arlington Dems website. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
We also have a YouTube channel where our videos are saved too, so you can check them all out.
Okay, thank you. Great. So going on to, so we have our weekly Sunday meetings at 1 p.m. every week. We've been doing that for a while. We welcome any new members that would like to join us. We're really picking up steam in terms of events. Our Facebook group page is very busy. At last check, we had over 170 members and growing within 2 months. So that's not too bad. And let's see, I mentioned the Interfaith Eid. I think that's it so far.
All right, awesome.
And one more thing, we're looking at doing an event possibly for either Sukkot or Hanukkah in the fall. So just stay tuned. Thank you.
All right, awesome. Thanks, Fatima. And the email address is listed there at the bottom. I did join the event last night, so I just want to give a quick shout out. Great job all around to the entire Interfaith team. I was really impressed with the discussion last night. We'll go ahead and go to the next slide. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the caucuses. As many of you have known, or many of you know, we've launched a ton of caucuses behind the scenes. We encourage you and invite you to join us. You can go to the Arlington Dems Facebook page, click on community, and you'll find all of the caucuses listed there. All of the caucuses have been really busy, but especially I've asked them to create mission statements and objectives. And just want to give another shout out to Interfaith and the AAPI caucus. They were the first two to get those done. We'll go to the next slide, please. We have a couple new caucuses that we are in the process of forming. So the Environmental Caucus and the Equality Caucus. If you know of anyone that would be interested in acting in a leadership role for either of these caucuses, please let me know. We'll go to the next slide, please. We'd like to welcome 2 brand new caucuses. I think I heard Daniel Davis and Michael Angeloni on the call tonight. They are going to be helping us out with the Disability Caucus. Thanks so much and congratulations. And we also are launching a Women's Caucus. We're doing our kickoffs tomorrow night at 7. If anyone on the call would like to join these 2 committees in formation, please let me know. Next slide, please. All right, awesome. AAPI is our Asian American and Pacific Islander Caucus. Their next meeting is going to be on the 19th at 2 p.m. You can reach them on the Facebook group or by emailing them. The email address is listed there. Next slide, please. A couple updates from them. They had a hustle training with Alex a couple weeks ago. Several members attended, so thanks, Alex, for doing that. Outreach efforts are still underway with the Mongolian community. They've been doing a lot of work with census and how important that is. They're also working with the Asian American Pacific Islander Civic Engagement Collaborative. And then their monthly meetings are held on the 3rd Sunday of every month. Again, you can find this information on the Facebook group or by emailing them. Next slide, please. We had our first Black Caucus meeting on about 2 weeks ago. It's just an initial strategy and kickoff meeting. The email address is listed there on the bottom. Next slide, please. We are going to be meeting again on the 7th at 8 p.m. You can find us online at the group or send us an email if you're interested in joining. Next slide. Latino Caucus, they have been busy. Their email address is down at the bottom. We'll go to the next slide, please. Thank you. And as many have mentioned, they've been doing a daily phone bank for caucus. It's going to be from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. After the 8th, they are going to be resuming census phone banking, and they are looking for Spanish speakers to help with the voter registration drive this Saturday. So if you speak Spanish, please join the Facebook group. All the information is on there. Next slide, please. Milvets, their next meeting is going to be on 7/25 at 10 a.m. Their email address is listed there. Please go to the next slide. They are in the process of forming a food drive. They need your help. It's going to be at AFAC. You can drop the items directly off. And I believe it's going to be occurring on the 25th. You can find more information on the Facebook group. Next slide, please. All right, awesome. That's it for outreach, Jill. Thank you.
Well, that is a huge amount, and I'm just so excited to see all of the terrific activity going on with all of these caucuses. It's tremendous, and thank you guys. And I want to give a shout out to Declan Stone, who is our coordinator for the caucuses, as well as all of the individual caucus leaders for stepping up. It really do enrich the party and our activities, and I just love to see the creativity of all of you. So thank you all. There are so many ways to get involved. If you would like to do an individual volunteer opportunity, we've got that for you. If you're interested about being with folks that are united around a particular issue area that is important to you, we've got the caucuses, and really sort of developing that sense of community. And so there's just lots of different ways to engage, and I appreciate outreach adding to that with all these tremendous groups. So thank you so much. Now you understand why we need a vice chair focused on helping with the comms, with just all of the different things that are happening with the caucuses. All right, moving right along to Beyond Arlington. As a couple of folks have mentioned on the line already, we do care a great deal about what's happening in Arlington and getting caucus over the line, but we are also always looking beyond Arlington to see what we can do to help Democrats throughout the Commonwealth and nationwide. And I want to turn things over now to Steve Baker and Rose Fabia to let us know how our Beyond Arlington team is doing and how we can get engaged. Steve?
Thanks so much, Jill, and hi, everybody. As you guys know, and Jill just mentioned, Beyond Arlington is the committee within the Arlington Democrats that takes our great volunteers and lends them to district outside of Arlington. We do want to work hard this year to re-elect our 2018 freshmen and maybe flip a couple extra seats in Virginia. And we want to work hard in a couple states and support some Senate candidates. We're making phone calls in North Carolina currently, but we will pick up another Senate race somewhere along the way, whether that's Georgia or Kentucky or Maine. We're not quite sure yet. We're trying to follow the polls and be strategic. about what we do, but we are currently helping Abigail Spanberger, Elaine Luria, and these North Carolina candidates, both state legislative candidates and the U.S. Senate candidate there in North Carolina. We are doing this currently through phone banking and texting. So if you have not joined us yet, please do so, or should I say, once the next 6 days is over and all the hard work that you've done to help elect Takis is completed, and we have Takis on the county board, I know then you will want to come back to Beyond Arlington and sign up for one of our great phone banks and texting events. The Spanberger campaign, I'll just let you know, switched this week to doing voter calls. Previously, we were doing volunteer calls. They were easy and fun. The voter calls are also great calls and important work that we need to do. But that transition has taken place. Elaine Luria, I will say, gained her opponent in last week's primary election, so she's up against Scott Taylor again. We expect that race to get more serious. The Cook report reports that the Spanberger race is a toss-up, and I think the sentiment is the same from the Luria campaign folks. So we really want to work hard to make sure they get reelected. Also resulting from that primary last Tuesday, or a week ago Tuesday, Dr. Cameron Webb in the 5th District is a really exciting candidate who's got a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of people fired up in the 5th. We definitely want to help him. So plans are underway to include him in our list. And in the 1st District, just 2 counties south of us, Qasim Rashid is now the Democratic nominee. He narrowly defeated Angie Williams, another great candidate. So we were very fortunate there to have 2 terrific candidates. Qasim Rashid is our guy for this year, and he goes up against Rob Whitman, a very sort of sleepy state Republican who votes party line. We'll have to work hard. Part of Angie's goals 2 years ago was to have a lot of voter registration efforts in the district. I'm not sure how far she got on that goal. We know normally that people actually do register in presidential years if we can figure out the workaround with the COVID virus. So a lot of moving pieces there, but we definitely want to help Qasim Rashid as well. So please, I would just urge you to spend the next day and help Takis in any way that you can. And once you're through with that, go to our Beyond Arlington Facebook page, go to the volunteer page on the Arlington Dems website, and go to Beyond Arlington. You can sign up for our events there. We have a Zoom meeting associated with each phone bank, so you're welcome to jump in on the Zoom meeting and catch some of the latest news on the candidates previous to making your calls. But look forward to seeing folks there. And Rose, I don't know if do you have anything you want to report? I know we had a couple other developments earlier in the week.
The only thing I could report is that Moms Demand Action will probably join us and be on board to help with Spanberger and Luria. And that's about it. I think you covered everything.
Awesome. And they were great partners last year and in 2018. So we look forward to having them back. And Jill, I appreciate the time to share our news.
Oh, but I think I forgot to forward the slides. I'm sorry. My bad.
Don't worry. I think these might be last month's slides. So.
Uh-oh. Well, all right. I think the phone banking times are still the same.
Because we were so busy phone banking.
There you go. It's true. You guys are doing a tremendous amount. We appreciate it. All right. Moving back to Arlington, I'm going to ask our joint campaign to step up. So for those of you who are new to Arlington Democrats, I do want to just explain a little bit. We do things all year round. We are registering voters all year round. We are reaching out to the community all year round. But during the immediate lead up to the election, the general election, we have a team that's really focused on making sure that we are running through all the paces that we need to in order to achieve victory in the general election. And that team is called the Joint Campaign, and they are focused on making sure that our ticket on that ballot is united, that they're working in unison, and that all of our efforts are focused on supporting them as a whole at the local level. So that's the Joint Campaign. They also work very closely with the statewide analog to the Joint Campaign, which is called the Coordinated Campaign. So that's a little bit complicated, but it's just as we have folks focus at the local level through the Joint Campaign on making sure we are working in unison to elect Democrats, you'll be relieved to know that there is a group working at the state level to make sure we're unified and working in coordination at the statewide level, and that's the Coordinated Campaign. We are fortunate to be hearing from both of them tonight. This is our first update from the Joint Campaign for the year. So we're really excited about that because it does mean that we are making that pivot towards the general election. And so I'm delighted, I think, to hand things over to one of our Joint Campaign co-chairs, Corey Barton, who's going to walk us through just a few intro slides to give you a taste for what's coming once we get past, that's right, the special election for Touchless on July 7th. Corey?
Thanks, Jill. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our July meeting. I hope you all had a fantastic Pride Month. I just want to add my voice to the many people who are talking about the great work and the important work we need to do, first of all, to elect Touchless next week. So I will be signing up myself for a poll greeting shift in the coming days to make sure that I'm doing my part as well. And I also want to say one of the issues, housing affordability. I had the opportunity to attend one of the meet and greet sessions with Touchless, I think it was last weekend, where we talked about housing affordability for young people, which is a especially prudent and important issue. So if there's any young voters on this call who are undecided at this point about who you're voting for in the special election, I am happy to talk to you about why Touchless should be your candidate. I suspect we have none of those people, but happy to have that conversation. So as Jill said, I am one of the members of the Joint Campaign team for our 2020 cycle. I am our events and fundraising lead. I think there are some additional members of our Joint Campaign team who are joining us on this meeting tonight, but if you don't know who our Joint Campaign team consists of at this point, Senator Barbara Favola is our elected co-chair. Alex Zins, who I think many of you are familiar with, is our field co-chair. Rachel Feldman is handling our collateral, so all of our sample ballots, messengers, everything of that nature. And Robert Julian is heading up comms for the Joint Campaign this cycle. Sorry, next slide, please. So a little bit about the fundraising events piece. So we are very close to finalizing all of our gold card events for this cycle. We are pretty close to that, but not ready to reveal exactly those details exactly yet, but we are very close to finalizing those. I suspect that you'll find that they resemble last year's events, but a little bit of changes. And I should also note that we've decided that all events this year will be virtual. Given the nature of the pandemic and just the uncertainty moving forward, we're planning as of this moment for all of our events to be virtual this cycle. There will also be four events, as in previous years. We are not changing the number of events that we are doing. And something else of importance, the ticket prices will remain exactly the same as they were last year. One of the things that we have been talking about, though, we understand that the COVID-19 has impacted people not only health-wise, but financially. So one of the things that we'll be doing, and this is similar to what we've done in previous years, is we'll be offering an opportunity for some of our donors to sponsor a ticket for someone who may be impacted financially by COVID, just to make sure that they also are able to join our gold card events, because we feel very strongly that money should not be a factor in showing your support for Democrats and coming out and being able to mingle and meet fellow Democrats. And what we are doing at the same time is also, one of the things I'm heading up is identifying our event co-chairs for each of our events. So usually in past years, what has happened is there's a lead for each area, but for every event, we also identify an event chair or two to help with planning and execution. So that is in the process right now. So that's a little bit about the fundraising and event side. I think the next portion is field, and I believe I saw Alex on the call. Oh, sorry, it's collateral actually. I'm not sure if Rachel is on, but we are still planning, as in years past, to move forward with our grip card, our messenger, our sample ballot. That is still a go. One of the things that we are talking about right now is face masks. I know that you've probably seen from social media that those, first of all, wear a mask, but second of all, that there's many different designs out there, and you've probably seen your friends sporting their favorite face mask. So one of the things that the joint campaign is talking about is maybe designing something similar that we can provide for people attending our event. So look for more information on that coming in the coming weeks. All right, next section is field. Alex, do you want to touch on that?
Sure. Obviously not a ton to do with field right now because one, we're early in the process for this campaign, and also we have an election to win before we start thinking about the new volunteer opportunities for November. So we've had meetings with the state coordinated campaign, and we'll be plugging into their schedule. They have already started doing phone banking in Northern Virginia, so you can start making calls after July 7th. And most of those are actually kind of what they call like a wellness check or a check-in with voters rather than trying to convince them of anything, just like checking in and seeing showing that you care about what's happening right now, what they might be thinking about, what they might be struggling with, and that the campaign wants to reach out to them. And then soon after, I think in the next, Corey, you'll have to remind me of the day, we are going to be meeting with the actual campaigns who will be on the ballot. And so they'll be joining us because they'll have input on all of our processes. And so we'll be meeting with them soon with all of our local candidates.
Awesome. Thanks, Alex. Yes, I think the date that we're meeting with with our Arlington campaigns is July 12th, I think. So we'll be meeting with them in the upcoming weeks and getting them up to speed on all things joint campaign and getting their input on all that we're planning for this exciting 2020 session. I think that's pretty much it. I saw Senator Favola on the call. I'm not sure if she wants to add anything or if any of our other event co-chairs are on.
Corey, you did a great job, and you gave an overview, and that's where we're at right now. We're just sort of setting out our framework. We have a strong team, very dedicated team, and I know that we're going to win big in November, thanks to the Arlington effort. So I have nothing substantial to add other than a lot of kudos.
Thanks, Senator. All right, Joe, I think that's up from us. I'll turn it back over to you.
Well, thank you so much. And I want to turn things right over to our terrific partners in the coordinated campaign. I believe that Megan Davey and Donovan Hatcher are on the line and are going to provide us an update about where things stand from the statewide effort.
Yep. Hi, I'm Megan. I am the field organizer for North Arlington, specifically everything north of 66, generally speaking. And Donovan should be here as well if he wants to introduce.
He might be on mute.
Maybe on mute.
There
he is.
My dog and yep, I am here. Sorry, I'm in a bad reception area as well. But I just wanted to say, so I have all of and see me? I'm sorry.
Cutting out Donovan. I think I'm gonna.
Yeah, my signal is very bad in this area. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I got it. So Donovan is, he has Fairlington, 4 Mile Run, Shirlington, Abington, and Wakefield. So if you're not in Donovan's like Southern Arlington, you can also come to me. I'm taking all the rest of Arlington at the moment. The biggest update we have is that now that the primaries are over, we have fully merged with all of the statewide campaigns, including Biden and the congressional candidates. So we were doing mostly wellness checks with Mark Warner's campaign, but now we are doing direct voter contact calls on behalf of Biden, Warner, and Representative Beyer. So that's very exciting. The other thing we're doing is we're really trying to expand voter turnout here in Nova, because this is what makes the rest of the state blue. And so we've got lots of high goals, and we're really looking for volunteers to help us get out the vote this November. I know we've got the extremely important July 7th election, but after that, it's time to get going on November. The other thing is we are going to have some more field organizers coming on board, including in Central Arlington, but for the moment we don't have them, so you can come to me. We will be getting them. I'm not sure of the timeline on that yet. It's sort of up in the air at the moment, but for the moment, I'm the rest of Arlington. And the other important update is that we are recruiting summer and fall fellows for our campaign. So if you know anyone that might be interested, feel free to send us the resumes and we can get them started. Yeah, I think that's all the major updates from us. Feel free to contact us if you want to get started phone banking.
Great, and thank you so much, Megan and Donovan, for joining us tonight and for your efforts to help to get out the vote and also to register voters. I know that that's something that's going to be very important to you, as well as our voter support team. I do want to take a moment to address some of the comments that have been happening in the chat, and just to make clear that my view as the chair of the Arlington Democrats is that we can chew gum and walk at the same time. We absolutely will be doing countywide voter registration efforts and targeting historically underrepresented communities within Arlington. Both efforts are important. Both efforts are entirely within the ability of this tremendous organization to do, and I would suggest that it is a moral imperative that we do both. It is simply untrue that if we all we did was just go out and do voter registration at this grocery store, that grocery store, that we will be sure to capture all the different folks who we need to get and who have historically been underrepresented. They've been historically underrepresented because we have not been intentional as a country in reaching out to them. And Arlington Democrats will be intentional about reaching out to communities of color to make sure that we are registering all voters and that all voters are able to vote on Election Day. So do not accept the falsehood that we can only do one thing or another, and that we are so focused on the bottom line and so focused on a transactional approach to politics that we're going to ignore the moral imperative that is front and center for us right now and this time in our community. So I want folks to hear it from the top on down. Yes, jazz hands it all the way. We will absolutely be making sure that our communities of color are represented in this election and beyond. So I just want you to hear that, that we will be doing both. I know the coordinated campaign is with me in this, and that the voter support team is with me in this, that there is absolutely no reason why we can't do both, and we will do both. So thank you to the coordinated campaign and to the joint campaign for your efforts to make sure that we get across the finish line in November, that we achieve a strong Democratic victory in November, and that we do it with everyone. We are stronger together, and we will prove it on November 3rd. So thank you so much, and we're going to keep moving on to the remainder of our agenda. And so there's the email address if you want to get in touch with the joint campaign. That's jointcampaign@arlingtondemocrats.org. Okay, moving right along to AYD, I want to turn things over to our most important partner in the county, the Arlington Young Democrats. And I'm not sure if it's Mike or if it's going to be another member of AYD who's going to be providing the update today, but I will just stop talking and see who jumps up.
Hey, Jill, thank you so much. And before I actually get into the Arlington Young Democrats report, I want to take a moment to applaud you on your comment. And I also have just a quick statement that I'd like to read. So I want to make a quick remark about some of the comments posted in the chat. Bob, they were hurtful. And as a party, I think it's important that we acknowledge the harm that's caused in statements like this. Thank you for your engagement, but we exist in outreach as a means to grow relationships with important constituency, issue, and identity-based groups across Arlington. Outreach is an avenue to help us strengthen diversity, inclusivity, and hear directly from communities that are frequently underrepresented and marginalized. We are the Big Tent Party, and I hope that I can find some time to connect with you, Bob, so that we can talk about the important work that's happening in outreach. We can go on to the next slide, and I'll happily give the Arlington Young Dems update. So as many people have mentioned, we've been doing phone banking for Touchless. We're not done yet. We are in the final stretch. As many others have mentioned, we got to make calls, we got to get to the polls, and we got to get those sticky notes on doors. Next slide, please. We also, as a board, passed a couple recent resolutions. One was on anti-fascism and one was on police demilitarization, the oversight and accountability. These resolutions will be moving to our general body for approval soon. Next slide, please. Juneteenth, we had a great time with a ton of Black leaders in Arlington, and Delegate Josh Cole joined us. So it was how we celebrated Juneteenth in AOID. Just want to let everyone know that we had a great time. Next slide, please. Last night, we had our Labor Caucus had a Black Lives Matter focused discussion, and the theme was police unions and the labor movement. Next slide, please. As always, we would love to see more Arlington Democrats sporting our swag. We got t-shirts, hats, and sweaters. You can reach out to me or go to the AYD Facebook page or our website to pick up some of this. Next slide, please. There's all of our social media handles. If you're not following us already, please follow us and like our pages. Thank you, Jill.
Thanks, Mike, and thanks to all the Arlington Young Democrats for what you are doing to make sure that we are getting our messages out to the younger folks in our community. Arlington is a younger county, and so we need to make sure that we're always having at least a portion of our messaging that's accessible to folks that are under 30. I'm not sure exactly where the age cutoff is. I know I'm past it, but we really appreciate those efforts and just really the tremendous programming. I'm always interested to see what AYD is doing. Their events are really open to everyone and relevant to everyone. And I just think that you enrich our programming and our activities so much. So thank you, as always, to AYD for all that you're doing. Moving right along, I think that we have a school board update. I am so excited because we are going to be welcoming to provide this school board update to our brand new chair of the Arlington School Board. I have to say that when I was joint campaign co-chair in 2017, which feels like 10 years ago, I was just so excited to be on that team fighting to get Monique O'Grady elected to the school board as the first African-American woman elected to any office in Arlington. And it is just, it's been a delight to see her on the school board. I'm really excited to see her taking over the reins at such an interesting and difficult time for our schools. So Monique, I'm gonna turn things over to you, and Maggie's gonna project your slides. Just give us a second to do the slide change.
Not a worry, Jill. Thank you so much for having me on behalf of my colleagues and our new vice chair, Dr. Barbara Cannonen, of course, Reed Goldstein, Nancy Van Dorn, and Tanya Talento. We want to thank you for allowing us to give this school board update. Next slide, please, Maggie. As Jill mentioned, today was actually the kickoff of the 2020-2021 school year. And I was humbled and honored to be voted by my colleagues to be the school board chair for this year, and joined by the very capable and experienced Dr. Barbara Cannonen as my school board vice chair. And next slide, please. And of course, I look forward to continuing to work with Tanya Talento, Reed Goldstein, and Nancy Van Dorn. Next slide, please. One of the really exciting things that's happening right now in the midst of so much change and need to work hard, we have welcomed a new superintendent. In fact, today marks the 1 month mark of Dr. Francisco Duran entering APS as our new leader and superintendent. We are very excited to have him. He comes with a wealth of experience, and I would say experience that is very important to our community, a majority minority school district. He has experience as a superintendent in Trenton and a similar sort of school district. He comes to us from Fairfax County, where he was hired as the chief academic officer and also earned the title of chief equity officer. And we're very fortunate in that Dr. Duran has served on the Virginia State Board of Education, so he understands being within a school system and helping to oversee the policies that are important and that we need to adhere to as a school system as well. He is a bilingual educator. He has experience as being a special education educator, and has also had experience in middle school as well. We're very happy to have him. Next slide, please. Dr. Duran worked very hard from the moment he walked into the school building on June the 1st. On June the 2nd, he joined with us in the school board to offer an important message for our community regarding the African American experience and the concern around police brutality and racism. And that message included this, and I do want to read this directly from the slide. We acknowledge the anger and hurt that our APS community and the nation are experiencing, especially for our African American community. We want you to know that we support you, we believe in you, and we stand in solidarity with you. And that statement we thought was important, but it was not enough. We then followed up with a virtual event called Let's Talk, a community discussion on racism that gave the opportunity for our community and our students to come and ask Dr. Duran and other members of our school system, teachers, equity and excellence officers, opportunities to understand and discuss concerns and the actions we're currently taking to address some of the issues of the day. Those events will continue through the summer, giving students more opportunities to talk about issues around racism and how we can come together for solutions for some of these problems and work towards change. In addition, Dr. Duran had the opportunity to have 6 virtual town hall meetings where he was able to hear from members of the community, our staff, and our students. Next slide, please. Of course, we did end the year with the ability to be able to congratulate our class of 2020. However, we had to do that in virtual ways, but we nonetheless worked very hard to come up with ways to support and congratulate our graduating seniors. Thank you. Next slide. Now, as many people are very concerned about the COVID situation, we have been working diligently to work on how we will return to school in the fall. It's important for you to know that we need to follow the guidance from the Virginia Department of Education, and these are some of the guidance pieces that have been issued by Governor Northam in early June, and we are working to ensure that our program to go back to school follows his guidance, and right now we're in phase 2. Next slide, please. You should understand that we've been working for several weeks to try to figure out how we can best serve our students, and we were looking at several different models. Some of those models are listed here on the slide. Today at our organizing meeting today, we were able to talk about the 2 models that will be available to our families, and they are the 2 last bullets on this slide. So families will have the opportunity to choose between these 2 different models. And that model would be for students to have a hybrid experience in learning in the fall, where they would come into school for 2 days and have virtual instruction, asynchronous virtual instruction for the 3 remaining days. And then the other option would be for our students to choose full-time virtual learning options, where they would have 4 days of virtual learning options. Our families will have the opportunity to choose between those 2 learning opportunities, and they will let us know that in the coming weeks. Next slide, please. And here's a timeline for our families. And I think the most important thing to reference here is on July 6th, our families will receive notices and asked to select their preference, that hybrid option I explained, or the distance full-time virtual instruction opportunity. We'll take those responses by July the 20th. And then on July 30th, we will have more information about how the details of that return to school will happen. One of the things that was shared today in our meeting is that we will be requiring our staff and our students to wear face coverings for the protection of everyone, and that our school system will actually be providing cloth masks for our students and for our teachers. Next slide, please. We are getting ready to work on our summer distance learning, and these are some of the elements that will be made available to our students. We do know that we have a lot of work to do to ensure that our students who need additional assistance have the ability to be able to have that, and we're doing that as we are continuing to prepare for the fall. Next slide, please. Throughout the summer, I know that many of us are very worried about all of the elements and needs of our students, and one of those is for ensuring that they have meals that they may need. And so throughout the summer, we will continue to provide meals for our students 3 days a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at these 9 different sites. And families who have not previously been receiving meals through free and reduced lunch have the opportunity to reach out to us if they do have new circumstances, so we can help ensure that they are able to qualify for additional service. Next slide. One of the wonderful things I think that can come out of a terrible situation like this is that we can figure out ways to advance for all people. And one of the things I'm very proud of is our ability in partnership with the county and with Comcast to now offer free internet service to families in needs. The county board has allocated up to $500,000 of its CARES money to help ensure that for families who are having trouble with getting consistent and robust internet, they are able to apply for free Comcast internet service that will be available for them for the whole year. And you can see there are people who can apply for that assistance. The information is below. I do think that this is an incredible testament to how when we work together, we have the ability to be able to help all of our students. So I want to thank the county board for that, and we look forward to this partnership. Next slide. This is some of the work that we were able to work on over our last school year, and you can see some of the important things that we have done as we take a look back. We were able to hire a superintendent, and as you mentioned, I think we've received just the most amazing superintendent. In addition to that, we have been able to hire a chief diversity, equity, and inclusion officer. Throughout the year, we've worked to focus on our students by ensuring that we were working to ensure that all of our children were advancing, and that we were working towards eliminating opportunity gaps. We focused on mental health, and we also wanted to ensure that our students were able to identify at least one adult who they felt could be important in their personal growth. We'll take the next slide. And we would encourage you to continue to keep up with us and engage with us at the Engage page. If you have questions, concerns, comments, this is the best way to reach out to us at the school board. And if you want to keep up to date, there's more on the next slide. You can sign up to receive monthly newsletters. You can sign up to speak at a board meeting. As I mentioned, there's the Engage page. You can follow us on Twitter. Of course, email us at the board or give us a call. I really appreciate the opportunity to be able to participate in tonight's meeting. I'm inspired by all of the work, and thank you, and I look forward to coming back in the future. Thank you.
Thanks, Monique. We really appreciate that update, and I appreciate also your colleagues have been answering some of the questions in the chat, which is terrific. And I appreciate them as well. But great to see you, and we look forward to having you at future meetings and doing these great school board updates. And thank you, and you and all of your colleagues for your work during this very challenging time. There are no easy answers for any of this.
Thank you.
Okay. We are going to move right along. I think we're probably at the, folks, we're going to do it with under 2 hours today, which is, is something we've not managed the past couple of months. We're on our upcoming events. We just have a couple of things that I wanted to go over here that haven't been mentioned. First, I just want to again call your attention to the fact that Arlington County is doing a shout out to healthcare workers every Monday at 8 p.m. So if you happen to be out there, you and yours on your porch, your doorstep, out in the streets, just do a little clap for our healthcare workers. Let us not forget that they are still out there risking their lives, as we see in the news every day. There are still cases happening. Yes, we are doing a good job of flattening the curve, and hopefully that stays that way in Virginia, but there are still folks that are hurting, and we want to recognize them, and also the healthcare workers that are supporting them. So just I wanted to remind everybody about that. And then, as was mentioned earlier, this is the information about our morning mugs that are going to be focused on redistricting. So you've got them, you've got the information here. As with all of our events, all you need to do is head to the Arlington Democrats Facebook page and look in the events section to learn about those events. Or if you are not a Facebook user, no problem at all. head to the Arlington Democrats online calendar at arlingtondemocrats.org/calendar, and you can get information about all of our events. Most of our events these days are via Zoom. Occasionally we do some Facebook Live events. Where we do Facebook Live, we do always record. We record some of our Zoom events as well. These 2 events will be recorded, and we do post the recordings onto our YouTube channel as well as on the event page for the particular event. So all of that information is available on our Facebook page and website. We also will be posting these slides, as is our tradition, on our website. So you know, if you've not furiously been taking notes, you can double check the slides after the meeting. I think that brings us to the end of our meeting, because we've already, we fast forwarded Mark Warner, and these were the slides I was desperately hoping to get to because I think that is hilarious. So I'm going to end on this one, but maybe I'll actually end on the more serious one. We are ready to fight hard to elect Mark Warner and our entire Democratic ticket on November 3rd. Before then, as we have been saying all along this meeting, we will get Takis Karantanis over the finish line this Tuesday. Please, if you have not yet done so, sign up to help in some way Takis's campaign. That is the best thing that you can do in this coming week to help Democrats. And then immediately after July 7th, we are going to pivot hard to support great Democratic candidates like Mark Warner get over the finish line on November 3rd so that we can absolutely have a great change in this country and certainly kick the current occupant of the White House out. So looking forward to really turning our attention to that in the coming weeks. But this week, it's all about the July 7th special election. Thank you to everyone for all that you are doing to help elect Democrats here in Arlington and beyond. Arlington Democrats is I think, bar none, the absolute best Democratic committee in Virginia, if not the country. And we are that way because we will try all of the things and all of above the election year. And let me just be clear, all of the above does mean paying special attention to the moment that we are in, to the underrepresented communities that exist in Arlington, to make sure that they are included in our democratic processes, in our political processes, along with everybody else. And so we are going to be out there making sure that that happens. Thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing you on the election trail. Have a great month. Bye-bye.